moment of our own silent prayer in memory of Reverend Bishop. Thank you. This time I would ask Councilwoman Cindy Walker to have the invocation, please.
Okay, shall we pray? Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, and as always, we thank you for our many blessings. We thank you for our family and our friends. We thank you for our employees, and we thank you for the men and women of the armed forces. We pray, dear Heavenly Father, that you'll continue to bless each and every one, keep them safe and keep them healthy. Dear Heavenly Father, we also ask for special prayers for the Bishop family. We pray that through the next coming days that you'll give peace and comfort to the families. Reverend Bishop was a man of great integrity and loyalty and will be greatly missed by this community. We ask that you guide and lead us through this meeting. These things we pray in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Cindy. Join me in the pledge of the flag, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a number of formal items on the agenda this evening, so we will get started. At this time, I need a motion for the approval of our minutes from the January the 16th meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those are approved. Next item on the agenda is a presentation by a representative from the Heritage Council.
Good evening. We are at the week of second Saturday for the month, and so I've left that for you at your seats. This month's theme is Wine About Winter. We did that last February, and it was a great success, and it's back again. So I wanted you to be aware of what was going on for that day. It's going to be a busy weekend downtown, especially Saturday with, of course, the sold-out concert, Travis Tritt at the State Theater. So we expect that, along with the fun things at the merchants and the places downtown, is just going to be a big place and great place to be for Saturday. As you see on your sheet, some of the merchant checklist deals, Den's Inn's having new markdowns just in time for this Saturday. DJ's Antiques and More, they will have 50% off their back room and booth specials also. Estate sales, 50% off all items, regular price $20 and under, all jewelry 20% off. Urban Olive Markets featuring ways to use chocolate balsamic with samples and recipes available. Karma Yoga, Hot Yoga Studio, they have a special workshop that will be going on, Matters of the Heart, yoga for your heart health, from 1 to 3. Main Street Floral Works, don't forget about your sweetheart and pre-order those Valentine flowers and gifts. You can check in with them for that. Natural Therapeutics has a special on a couples massage for $140, and that's only for a limited time, February 9th through the 14th. Pretty Woman Boutique, 60% off markdown items. Running Souls sell on apparel and gear, and they've got their new shoe line that's out. Swanky Shop is having a giveaway for a Valentine's gift. Each purchase will enter into the drawing. To the Nines, every $50 spent, receive $10 off. 100 spent, receive $25 off. Spend $150 and receive $45 off purchase. And Vibe Coffee has their Cupid's Brew that returns, along with a special Valentine box that they're going to have on site. So if they're encouraging folks, if you want to write a love letter to your Valentine, you can drop it in the mailbox there, and you can say things that maybe you're too afraid to say in person. Only good, positive letters, they say. But they're going to draw a winner for the best Valentine from the box.
Is there a limit for Thomas to do?
I don't know. I could see some glances going on here. But they're going to draw a winner for the best Valentine from the box. And then the winner will receive 2 free Cupid Brews and 2 desserts of their choice. So there you go. But, of course, you can have the Valentine card back to your sweetheart. So that's something new that they're doing this year, which is kind of fun. And Walker Lane is having a winter blowout sale, 40% off. And then, of course, the window booth at Claggett Photography is always around for Saturdays, especially second Saturdays. And the tasting event locations this year that everyone is excited about with special $5 flight specials starting at 2 o'clock. Bourbon Barrel Tavern will have their wine flight specials going on then. Flywheel Brewing, their craft beer flight specials start at 2 p.m. And Rick's Grill on Wheels will be serving on location for that. Flywheel has a very vast portfolio of beer styles brewed in-house, and so they have those specials going on. Roxy's will start her wine flight specials at 2, and she also has early Valentine's Day specials, so 4-course meal for 2. And you can get that Friday and Saturday and on Valentine's Day, but you can contact the restaurant for more details and reservations. The location starting at 4, Impel Azari's will start their wine flight specials at 4. They will be featuring 2 of their white and 2 of their reds for tasting along with a custom tasting card. The sidebar located near the restrooms will be the designated spot for the quick service for the tastings, but you can also order it at the tables in the bar from 4 to 8 that evening. And then just remember their peak location time is 5 to 7. So it's important to remember that when you're going out Saturday. And then of course, Wicked Eyed Woman, she will have wine and desserts flights beginning at 4 p.m. and going until 6 p.m. And then the dinner reservations will begin. And then the dinner guests can also order those flights tableside, mini wines available and dessert samples, and you can contact that location for reservations as well. So we expect it to be a fun day downtown. Hope you guys will get out and enjoy it.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah.
I can't wait, Councilman Rogerson.
Don't forget about that Valentine box, you know.
Any questions for Trista? Okay, not,
Thank
Trista.
you.
Next item on the agenda is the second reading of ordinance number 6, 2018, amending the zoning map for property located at 100 Parr Lane from commercial C1 to commercial C2 as requested by Third Generation Enterprises LLC. Do I have a motion to read that ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Yes.
Dee?
Okay, and Mayor Pro Tem, this is a second reading, so in summary, this is ordinance number 06/2018. This ordinance will change the zoning for the property located at 100 Parr Lane from commercial 1, C1 to commercial 2. This is at the request of Third Generation Properties, and a public hearing was held on this matter on January 9th, 2018. This ordinance was read the first time on 16th day of January, 2018.
Thank you. Do you have a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Have a motion second?
Second.
Second, this is a roll call vote. It will start with Councilwoman Walker.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Passes.
Thank
I don't think I vote. I should know, but I don't think I did. Yes. Passes 5-0.
Try to get out of that one.
I don't know. I'll be
Always glad
glad.
to have Mary.
I'll be glad Claire gets back.
Well, that was 4-0.
What, 4-0?
4-0.
1, 2,
Oh,
3,
no,
4,
sorry,
5.
5-0.
Yeah, 5-0.
Okay,
Don't
sorry.
confuse me anymore. I wish the mayor would get back.
You not voting confused me.
Next item on the agenda is first reading of several ordinances. Ordinance number 7, 2018, amending the zoning map for property located at 406 South Mulberry Street from commercial C4 to commercial C3 as requested by Kurt Rafferty. Do I have a motion to read that?
So moved.
Have a motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Dee Dee?
Whereas the Elizabethtown Planning Commission held a public hearing on January 23rd, 2018, initiated by Kurt Rafferty for property located at 406 South Mulberry Street, Elizabethtown, Kentucky. And whereas the Elizabethtown Planning Commission, based on the testimony at the public hearing, determined that the request to amend the official zoning map for property located at 406 South Mulberry Street be changed to a proposed zoning district classification of commercial 3, C3, that would be in agreement with the city of Elizabethtown's comprehensive plan. In accordance with KRS 100, the Planning Commission has transmitted to the City Council findings of fact and a recommendation for approval of said request to amend the official zoning map, including a summary of evidence and testimony from said hearing. Be it ordained by the City of Elizabethtown, Kentucky, that from and after the passage, approval, and publication of this ordinance, that the official zoning map is amended for property located at 406 South Mulberry Street from Commercial 4 C4 to Commercial 3 C3. This action is taken pursuant to a request by Kurt Rafferty for property located at 406 South Mulberry Street and pursuant to the recommendation of the City of Elizabethtown Planning Commission. The City Council also finds that the map amendment request is in agreement with the comprehensive plan, including the future land use map and numerous guidelines and policies found in the plan. The findings of fact of the Planning Commission in support of the zoning map amendment are adopted as if set out verbatim. The legal description of said property is more particularly described in Exhibit A. Be it further ordained that the mayor of the city and or her designated being, she is hereby authorized and directed to take all steps necessary to perfect this ordinance, read the first time this the 5th day of February, 2018.
That is the first reading of that ordinance. Second reading will be at the next regularly scheduled meeting on the 20th. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 8, 2018, amending 34.01 of the Code of Ordinances regarding meeting times and terms of office. Do I have a motion to read that?
Motion.
Have a motion and a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Didi?
Whereas the Board of Zoning Adjustment meetings are currently held on the second and fourth Monday of each month at 3:30 p.m. And whereas the Board of Zoning Adjustment has requested that the City Council change the day and time of the meetings from the second and fourth Monday of each month at 3:30 to the first Tuesday of each month at 4 p.m. And whereas the meeting times and dates for the Board of Zoning Adjustment are set by ordinance and must be approved by the City Council, now therefore be it ordained by the City of Elizabethtown, Kentucky, that from and after the passage, approval, and publication of this ordinance, that Section 34.01 of the Code of Ordinances be hereby amended as follows. And it's D, it said the Elizabethtown Board of Zoning Adjustment shall meet, and the changes to at 4 p.m. on the first Tuesday of each month at the Council Chambers, City Hall, Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Members shall serve 4-year terms. Be it further ordained that the mayor of the city and or her designate being, she is hereby authorized and directed to take all steps necessary to perfect this ordinance, read the first time this the 5th day of February, 2018.
Thank you, Didi. Next item on the agenda is the first reading of ordinance 9, 2018, amending section 31.35 of the Code of Ordinances regarding establishment of non-elective city offices. Do I have a motion to read?
Motion.
Have a motion?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Whereas the City of Elizabethtown wishes to establish the necessary non-elected offices for the proper operation of government services for the citizens of the community. And whereas KRS 83A.080 and 83A.090 allows for the creation of the position of city administrator, a city administrative officer for the responsible operation of government under the direction of the mayor as executive authority. Now be it ordained by the City of Elizabethtown, Kentucky, that from and after the passage, approval, and publication of this ordinance, the section 31.35 of the Code of Ordinances is amended as follows. And this is under the title Establishment of Non-Elected City Offices, and adds number 17, the title of City Administrator. Be it further ordained that the mayor of the city and her designate being, she is hereby authorized and directed to take all steps necessary to perfect this ordinance, read the first time, this is the 5th day of February, 2018.
Thank you, Didi.
Presiding Chairman, I've got a question for Brian.
Question?
Just a clarification that the city administrator, we're just changing the name. It's not actually a new position. We're changing the name of an old position. Is this correct? Or?
Actually creating additional. And at this point, until transition.
That is your question, Bill?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Next item is ordinance number 10, 2018, amending the personnel and pay classification as part of the budget approved by ordinance number 6, 2017. Do you have a motion to read that ordinance? Going once.
I'll make a
Going
motion,
twice.
but I've certainly got some questions.
Have a motion by Councilman Bennett. Do I have a second? Did I hear a second by Councilman Shipp? I have a second by Councilman Shipp. Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Bill, you
Yeah,
said
let
you
me
had a
ask the
question?
question,
Okay.
yeah.
And
Uh,
keep in mind, this is just for the reading of it, so
Yes.
let me read it first.
Sure, go ahead,
And
that's
then why
fine.
don't you ask, then
That's
y'all
fine.
can have discussion.
All right, let me
Okay.
have the call. Do it. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Dee Dee.
Okay. Whereas the city of Elizabethtown wishes to operate a personnel and pay classification plan in conformance with Kentucky Revised Statutes for the proper provision of services to the citizens of the community, and whereas the city has developed a personnel and pay classification plan and has annually adopted this structure as part of its budget process, and whereas the city desires to make adjustments to the personnel and pay classification plan to assure positions are provided for the proper operation of government, now be it ordained that the position of city administrator is created under the City of Elizabethtown Personnel and Pay Classification Plan as a Class 12, including the development of an appropriate job description. Be it further ordained that the position of Director of Planning and Development be placed as a Class 10 position under the Personnel and Pay Classification Plan, and that the position of City Treasurer be placed as a Class 9 under the Personnel and Pay Classification Plan. Be it further ordained that the mayor of the city and or her designate be and she is hereby authorized and directed to take all steps necessary to perfect this ordinance, including the necessary provisions in the personnel budget to affect the establishment and classification of these offices. Read the first time, the 5th day of February, 2018.
Okay. Councilman Bennett, you had a question?
Thank you. Charlie, I know the city administrator being a Class 12, so that's new. However, planning and zoning, Director of Planning and Zoning, Class 10, is that being raised from 9, or was it originally 10 to begin with?
Actually, 11.
It's being lowered? Is that the same for the city treasurer as well? All right, okay.
The city administrator position starts with development, because in order to have a position or hope in this case, who's currently development or there, a position which will be all of the positions provided for plan begins with that all the positions available in classification.
And is this money, is this budgeted for next year, or is it for this year? Did we speak of this for this budget year, or is this for next year, the change?
All of the applications, you know, creating this. As far as the number, there is a position budget process, then the completion of the money. There is a little bit of extra money that has to be provided for in the budget.
Right, like,
What position is that for that you're gonna have to, for that additional money?
Well, actually, because we had these two positions.
Right.
City administrator.
Well, but I guess, and that's what Bill's getting at, then, so then upon passage of this, then Ed's gonna go to the 12 level. City treasurer goes up to a 9.
It's gonna go to the 12 level as far as position. But
You're not gonna pay him?
the money,
Is that 12
no, there'll be monies there, but he's already being paid. The money is as far as how that, completion of the transition, as far as money goes.
I think you're getting a shaft, Ed, but I'm just,
And Charlie, that will become effective with a second reading, assuming that passes. Yes.
Well, and the person
Because
taking
otherwise,
Ed's
you don't have.
position,
You don't have a
pay
position.
goes down.
Yes,
We've never had
That is a
Right.
huge position.
that's gonna be.
That's
The
what it
money's
is,
gonna have
yes.
to be accounted for, and they will, and the final resolution, all of those.
Ed, do you understand all this that we're doing to you? Thank you.
and he's still here, that's what's amazing. I have other questions, but we can discuss it off. I can meet with you.
You wanna wait on those then?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we have the municipal orders, first reading, or reading of municipal order 3, 2018, authorizing the offer to purchase property, excuse me, located at 317 Haycraft Street from Vernon and Phoenix Peeler. Do you have a motion to read that municipal order?
Motion.
Have a motion, second.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Dee Dee?
At a regular meeting of the City Council of Elizabethtown, Kentucky, held on the date set out below, a motion to read and adopt the following municipal order was duly made, seconded, and approved. Whereas the City of Elizabethtown purchased property at 317 Haycraft Street in 2012, and whereas the City of Elizabethtown removed the dilapidated structure from said property in October 2012 and declared said property excess property under the city's CDBG program and offered the property for sale. And whereas the City of Elizabethtown received 2 sealed bids for purchase of said property by the January 10th, 2018 deadline, now be it ordered that the city accepts the offer to purchase from Vernon and Phoenix Peeler for the property at 317 Haycraft Street in the amount of $4,000. Be it further ordered that the mayor of the city is authorized to sign any and all contracts, settlement statements, deeds, and other documents to complete this property transfer. And be it further ordered that the mayor of the city and or her designate be and she is hereby authorized and directed to take all steps necessary to perfect this order. Read, adopted, and approved this the 5th day of February 2018.
Thank you, Dee Dee.
Motion to adopt?
Second? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next item is municipal order 4, 2018, approving the parking lease agreement with 19B LLC. Do I have a motion to read that municipal order?
Motion?
Have a motion, second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Thank you. Dee Dee?
At a regular meeting of the City Council of Elizabethtown, Kentucky, held on the date set out below, a motion to read and adopt the following municipal order was duly made, seconded, and approved. Whereas the city owns certain real estate located at Cherry Alley and Plum Alley in downtown Elizabethtown, Kentucky, also known as the Cherry Alley parking lot, and that is Lot 19A of the amended record plat of the City of Elizabethtown as recorded in the office of the Hardin County Clerk in Plat Cabinet 1 Sheet 2207. And whereas the city agrees to lease a single parking space in said parking lot to 19B LLC as an incentive for the redevelopment in downtown Elizabethtown, and whereas the city and 19B LLC intend to cooperate in achieving their respective responsibilities related to this redevelopment project, now be it ordered by the Elizabethtown City Council to approve the parking lease agreement with 19B LLC for 1 parking space in the Cherry Alley parking lot for a term of 5 years with 3 5-year renewable options in the amount of $100 per parking space per year. Be it further ordered that the mayor of the city and or her designate be and she is hereby authorized and directed to take all steps necessary to perfect this order. Read, adopted, and approved this the 5th day of February 2018.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve that municipal order?
Motion.
Can we
Have a
discuss
motion.
that? Can we discuss that just for?
Yeah, but can I get a second? Before we
Second.
discuss,
I'll
have a
second.
motion and a second. Discussion. Councilman Chip.
This is a 5-year lease for $100. And how many renewals?
3 5-year renewals, right?
Does it automatically renew or is this something that's
It
going to be
automatically
brought?
renews unless either side gives notice, and I think it's a 30-day notice or something to terminate.
And it's 1 spot.
1 spot.
And where's the spot going to be?
We don't know that yet, do we? Do you know that?
Have
we picked a spot?
This morning?
Ed?
Talk to the Claggets, it's gonna be away from their business. Parking lot behind.
That vicinity. Mhm.
I think it's important that we do not set some kind of a
President.
protocol that we're going to do this for every business that is downtown. If we do, we're not going to have any parking spaces left for the public, and parking is becoming an issue and a topic that people are concerned about downtown as businesses continue. And I'm not saying I'm against it, I'm just saying I've brought up concerns about it before, and I'm bringing them up again, that is it fair for us to tell and to say, we're gonna do this on a case-by-case basis, which I think is the way we're adopting the protocol. And I think you get into some slippery turf there when you say case by case, because then you open yourself up. Well, how come they got it and I didn't? And how come that one's going to get it and I didn't? And so there are my concerns. So I'll give you the chance to make me feel better about it.
And real quickly, I agree with what you said, because I think it's obvious to assume that we probably, after this, will have other.
I would think we would have a lot of requests.
Yeah. Ed, you wanna-
Especially if you get hey, I've got a reserved parking space down there anytime I want it.
Absolutely.
Nobody else can park there.
Yeah.
I think that's the way I understand it. Is it
Correct.
24/7?
Correct.
No matter what the
So-
occasion.
How about the festival?
No.
Barbecue, blues, fights?
No, by the agreement, they are not allowed to use their space during downtown events. That the lot is reserved and they must make other arrangements. That's in the agreement language. Couple comments for you all. One about the renewals. There's language in the agreement that the price increases with each renewal. There's also your comments, Councilman Shipp, about the city has viewed these on a case-by-case basis. That is correct. This is only the second agreement that has been proposed. And in both instances, they have been associated with businesses that have residential occupancy associated with them. So even though we don't have that as a written criteria, and if the council would like for us to develop those standards so that you don't get that question of why is this case, case by case basis, oh, I think you like this person better than this person. At this point in time, the city has consistently said, no, we will only sign this kind of agreement with you based on residential occupancy at the business. So the first one we did was the 30 live work condominiums, which are second floor residential occupancy. The Claggets, again, similar situation, run their business and lease space on the first floor. They residentially occupy the second floor. So if the staff was contacted at this point and said, and I don't mean to pick on him, but just because he's on the agenda later, Roger Rigney, and I have my law office, you gave me a grant money for fixing my building up. Now I want to sign and have a designated parking space. We would tell Mr. Rigney that, no, you do not reside down there. So the city, if you want us to, we'd bring it to the city council, but our position is we would not even bring that before the council because it's not for residential occupancy. It's just a business use. And as you all point out, we're not going to take the public lots and all of a sudden lease all the spaces to various businesses. The only ones we have brought to you all have been related to a residential occupancy of that business owner. And again, they have been owner occupied. They haven't been, oh, I want to do this for my tenant or I want to do something else. So the incentive has been to have owners occupy their business space downtown and reside downtown. And that was felt that was incentive for redevelopment purposes to bring to you all to sign those agreements. Now, like I said, is that written down in a full downtown policy statement? No, it's not. If the council would feel better if we put that criteria down and then had some adoption of that, we'd be happy to do that for you all.
I think that, and I think that's a valid.
But that's the criteria we have used in bringing those. And like I said, this is the second one in bringing those issues to you all. We've been pretty, because we understand the concern on the spaces downtown are a premium. And as we've all experienced because of the development we've had in the last couple of years, I mean, that's, 5 years ago, we had 600 plus parking spaces downtown and most of them stayed empty. Now they're being occupied. So
Don't you see
we share
those
your,
where we probably
yes,
will have-
we share the concern.
And I guess the next question is how many residencies do you have?
That would need a spot like this. I mean, because we have some residential units downtown, but they have their own parking associated with that residential occupancy. So that's, I'm trying to go through some of the buildings real quick, Councilman, and I mean, the other residential occupancies we have downtown actually have their own private parking lot associated with that
It's a
use.
private lot along with that private property.
Correct, correct.
Okay, any other questions of Ed? Is it the pleasure of the council then to go ahead and ask for approval of this before we get these guidelines, or do we want to wait until we get those guidelines?
I think
Before-
as long as we know we're getting the
Okay.
guidelines and we're gonna work something out to where we don't get caught in a situation
Okay.
where we're ad-libbing it,
I agree.
you know.
Okay. Okay.
Motion to adopt.
Have a motion in a second. Any
Second.
other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Next item is municipal order 5, 2018, accepting the bid from Lenny Welcher for crop lease agreement for property located on the Bethlehem Academy Road. Do we have a motion to read that municipal order?
So moved.
Have a motion second.
Second.
Any discussion?
I have a question on that after we read it.
Okay. Those in favor of reading the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Dee Dee?
At a regular meeting of the City Council of Elizabethtown, Kentucky, held on the date set out below, a motion to read and adopt the following municipal order was duly made, seconded, and approved. Be it ordered that the city authorizes the mayor and or her designate to enter into a crop lease agreement with Lenny Welcher in the amount of $240 per acre per year for 196 acres on Bethlehem Academy Road in Hardin County, same being part of the Coward Farm. Be it further ordered that the mayor of the city and or her designate be and she is hereby authorized and directed to take all steps necessary to perfect this order. Read, adopted, and approved this the 5th day of February 2018.
Councilwoman Walker, you said you had a question.
Yes, Mr. Welcher, he's going to be putting crops on this property, as I understand it, which I don't have any problem with that, but did I read something that if his crops fail or they don't come in or there's some kind of contamination that then the city's responsible? I thought I read something there on that. No? Okay. Well, it just says the lease is subject to gas storage operations on the property. In the event of destruction of crops in excess of 1 acre by the lessor or the lessor's agents, the parties hereto agree that the local county agent shall appraise the direct cost and we shall pay that cost. It doesn't define how the damage takes place or what happens.
No, but it says that if it's us that does it, because we're the leasehold.
So if we have gas that, escapes from our fields, I mean, that's what I'm just trying to clarify. What is it?
Drive across the hill.
With equipment.
Yeah, with equipment.
And
that
destroy
equipment
the-
be fixed.
Because he's not leaving access to get back there if there's
We've got access roads through all of it, so we shouldn't have to do that, but we're saying that in the. do go in.
It doesn't really read that, but okay.
We have leased this before, Charlie, I think. Yeah. Have we ever had any
Have we ever had any,
situation where we were liable that you know of, man?
and no damage to crops by any?
Any other questions? That answer, Councilwoman Walker?
Yes,
Maybe. Okay.
maybe, that way.
Okay. All those in favor, or do I have a motion to,
I'll give you a motion.
okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion in a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 5-0. Last item is municipal order 7, 2018, approving the agreement with Roger, 6, I'm sorry. 6, 2018, approving the agreement with Roger Rigney for downtown redevelopment grant in the amount of $5,500. Do we have a motion to read that?
Motion.
Have a motion second.
Second.
Have a second by Councilman Shipp. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Dee Dee?
At a regular meeting of the City Council of Elizabethtown, Kentucky, held on the date set out below, a motion to read and adopt the following municipal order was duly made, seconded, and approved. Whereas the City of Elizabethtown desires to promote and support the redevelopment of downtown, and whereas the city has developed a downtown redevelopment grant program to encourage private property owners to redevelop their properties, now be it ordered that the City of Elizabethtown approves the agreement with Roger Rigney for a downtown redevelopment grant for 40 Public Square in an amount up to $5,500. Be it further ordered that the mayor of the city and or her designate be and she is hereby authorized and directed to take all steps necessary to perfect this order, read, adopted, and approved this 5th day of February 2018.
Do I have a motion to approve that municipal order?
Motion.
Have a motion, second,
Second?
in discussion.
The only thing I would add to that is this is a situation very similar to the parking spaces.
Yes.
We have a program already established on this. And then I assume, because we're not privy to this before it actually is determined what the dollar amount is, but I assume that we handle this identically the same regardless of who's filing for the grant. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not subjective.
No,
It's simply math.
there's an application that
Yes.
property owners file. The city only pays for exterior improvements that's outlined in the application. And we have, I think, consistently administered that in the range of what has been paid based on the request from property owners. Nobody who has, or no property owner who has made a request to the city has been reimbursed 100% for their improvements at this point in time. The areas that have been in the core of the downtown area have all gone before the Historic Preservation Commission, and the work has been approved by that commission before they even apply for a grant to go through the process.
The question we would have is that in the policy, the percent that, like, is it in the policy that says that we'll reimburse 25% of a sign, 50% of any exterior painting, 75% of an awning? I mean.
The actual percentages are not in the policy. No, they're not.
Okay.
I mean, it says these are eligible activities. The city will not reimburse 100%. They'll be evaluated based on your proposal. We generally get a breakdown of the cost from the property owner. And like I said, we have paid for, consistently paid the same. A lot of people have asked to be reimbursed for their rental of lifts and equipment, and the city's never done that. I mean, we don't pay for those kind of things. And like I said, and it's all been always exterior improvements. We've had some people talk to us about, well, I did this on the inside, and we've said, the policy is, and the guidelines are, we pay only exterior items.
So if there's not a percentage, is there a formula? I mean, how do you determine the exact number?
We look at the application that's been filed and the cost associated with that based on the numbers we have received, and do try to consistently look at, okay, we've paid no more than 50% for anybody else's sign. So if somebody wants their sign reimbursed, then as a guideline, we haven't paid more than 50% for anybody's exterior sign. But that's not written down, Councilman, that says we're only going to pay 50% of a sign, but that's been the kind of rule of thumb that we have used in the evaluation of proposals and stuff.
Real, specific that we pay for this range.
I like the program, and I assume that we'll discuss again at budget time if we're going to do it again next year, but it's certainly great incentive for people downtown.
Yeah, we've had,
Properties,
I
and it
mean,
shows.
as you all know, because you all have approved all the grant agreements, we've had 5 or 6 property owners take
Yeah.
advantage of it. And their prices have I mean, the reimbursements for the grants have ranged from $5,000 to $50,000. They're all in that range typically.
Well, and each project has been some work on interior structures, or features. So, balance all those things, not, happen. Try to give it a balance, and so again, I think haven't needed project and what. You all really good mix of
I think it's doing its job. It's a good incentive for them.
Yeah.
Looks downtown.
It looks
Starks
great.
Really good. Really is.
Yeah, and the one before you all, I mean, just the painting that Roger did, just a couple accent colors on it made a big difference.
Yes.
Big difference on that property. And he worked with the staff really well, and we took things to the Preservation Commission. But I mean, that shows that you don't have to, in some cases, you don't have to spend a lot of money to really have a positive impact on the property.
And I think Roger even said in the paper or something that his was a spinoff when he saw how good the other.
Yeah, I think he was kind of guilted into it when all his neighbors started doing some things, which is what you all wanted to happen. So,
Yeah.
I mean, as you point out, I mean, I think it's been a successful program today.
Very much. Thank you, Ed. Okay. I don't think we voted on that yet. We had a motion in a second. All those in favor of adopting the municipal order as read, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Anyone in the audience wish to address the council? Chief, do you have anything that you wanted to bring before us, or Jamie? Yeah. Okay, okay. Any council member have anything that they want to bring before the meeting today?
Yes, I wanted to thank the Ancestral Trails Historical Society for holding their book fair at the Pritchard Center. It was a big turnout, and we had a lot of local authors there that were selling their books, and shows the talent we have here in Elizabethtown, Hardin County. So big turnout. So thank you for
Okay.
that.
Anything else? Again, as Councilwoman Walker mentioned in her invocation, we would ask that you keep Councilman Bishop and Becky and members of his family in your thoughts and prayers. I'm sure you will. I have not received official notification of the arrangements, and I'm assuming that will be announced shortly in the newspaper and over the radio. So certainly keep that family in your thoughts and prayers. If there are no other items to come before the council, do I have a meeting to close the, do I have a motion to close the meeting to conduct business pursuit to KRS 61810, Section 1A, to conduct deliberation on future acquisition or sale of real property by the city. B, to discuss the general nature of existing and possible litigation by the city. C, to discuss personnel which might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual employee, member, or student. Do I have a motion to close the meeting?
Motion.
Have a motion and a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I assume we will not come back down or any other. We will not. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll call.
Well, that's a rough job.